When we tapped our tree, I left that bucket on it for the whole night, and then I went in that morning and checked and saw how much sap there was, and we got this much from leaving that bucket on overnight. So we thought it might be a good idea. We have some other maple trees on our property, and so we thought, why don't we tap those too? So we went and set up some maple tree taps on about 7 other maple trees, and we left them there for a couple days. So we're about to go check on those trees and just see how much sap we have left, or not left, how much sap we have now. I'm pretty excited. Now I know that it has to be below freezing at night and above freezing during the day for sap to flow. So it's been pretty cold these past couple days, so I don't really know how much sap there's gonna be. So let's go find out. More sap in this tree, but as I'm looking at it, I can see that there's a lot of moisture going down the side of this tree. So there's probably a lot more sap that we could have gotten, but it went down the side of the tree instead. So that's pretty interesting. It might be because this tree's younger and smaller, I don't know. So let's pour this into our container and then we can go and check on our other trees. So for our buckets, because we knew that we were going to be leaving them out for a couple days, we didn't want any animals or rain or dirt or anything to get inside of them. So what we did was, and by we I mean my dad, we drilled holes in the bucket that were just big enough for our spile to get through so that we could fit lids on top of them. So we can put our bucket in and just stick our spile directly in there and hang it up. And that way we know that our sap is safe from things like raccoons or deer or anything else that might fall into it, or bugs that might get into our sap. So that protects it from a lot of different stuff. So this next tree that we're going to check on, we actually tapped in 2 different places because it was a really, really big tree. So let's see how much sap we got from this one. We got about the same amount of sap from that smaller tree. So we have some in here. And some in here. So we're gonna add that to our buckets. Already got a lot more than we started with, so that is super exciting. I'm gonna put these buckets here because you can come up. You're looking. You can tell that the sap is really flowing today because look, it's just dripping right out of these 2 spiles that we have going on. So if we came back and checked in a couple more days, we'd have even more sap. We have almost a gallon. We have almost 4 quarts, and 4 quarts makes a gallon. So we have almost a gallon here. And in order to make 1 cup a really good thick maple syrup, you need 2.5 gallons of sap. So we're less than halfway there, but we're pretty close. So I'm really excited. So yesterday we walked around our property and collected some sap, and we thought we'd just leave our buckets up and see if we can find any more. So let's check and see how much sap is at this tree. Oh my goodness. There's so much. This is 1 day. We left this up for 1 day, and it is full of sap. That's 1 gallon of sap from 1 tree. That's crazy. So this is a tree that we checked on yesterday, and already look at how much more sap is in it than there was when we first checked on it. I think it's because it's a little bit warmer today, and so we have a little bit more of that above freezing temperature during the day, so it's able to give more sap. But that's so exciting. We're going to be able to make so much maple syrup. So we have our setup ready to go. We are going to be boiling our maple sap in our turkey fryer, actually, because it's the biggest pot that we have, and it's something that we can boil outside without having to worry about it. A lot of the things that I read recommended that you start by boiling your sap outside because it's going to produce a lot of steam. And some of the things I read even said if you try to boil it in your house, it's going to steam up all your windows, and it might even make your smoke detector go off. So we're going to start by boiling it down as much as we can outside, and we're really lucky that we have a nice day that's not raining where we can do that out here without having to worry about it. So I'm really excited. Our first step is when we pour our sap in, if you want to come over here and show them. When you pour your sap in, you have to pour it through a sifter or a cheesecloth. We don't have a cheesecloth, so what we've done is we've actually wet a paper towel just so it can catch those really small pieces of dirt or bark or anything that might be inside of our sap that we don't want to eat. So we're going to pour it through here. So I'm going to grab, I'll start with our little one. This is our first sap that we collected. So before we've even turned the flame on, so I can stand nice and close to this, I'm going to take my sap and pour it through. And so you can see, so it's going through, and you can even see little bits of dirt that were already caught in there that we will thankfully not be eating. So we're going to see how many gallons we can fit in here safely, allowing it to be able to boil. Hopefully we'll be able to fit them all, but I highly doubt that that's going to happen. So our next step now is to light it, I guess, and bring it to a boil. Our sap has come to a boil, so we turned our heat down a little bit because it did boil over for just a moment. So we turned our heat down, and you can already see this heap of steam coming out of it. So we're gonna let it boil and check on it about every 30 minutes or so, see how it's doing. And yeah, I'm excited. Okay, so our sap boiled down quite a bit, so we've brought it inside now to boil in these pots on our stove. So it's kind of gotten to be more of a golden color instead of clear. So we're gonna see how long it takes for it to boil down to become actual syrup. So after boiling our maple sap all day, our 7 gallons of sap resulted in a little less than 2 cups of syrup, but it tastes amazing and it's so yummy. And look at that cool, beautiful golden color of it. It almost looks like honey. It was so cool to get to see how the sap turns into syrup and how long it takes for it to boil down, and just to see the science of it. It's really interesting to see how little syrup our sap makes, and I think that part of it is because we're near the tail end of the maple sap season, and so the sugar content in our sap is super low, and so it takes a lot more sap to make syrup than if the sugar content was really high. But it was so much fun, and I'm so glad that I got to kind of show you guys what we might have learned on our field trip on a really small scale. Keep working hard, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!